This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, April 26, 2006, and this is episode number 92 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org. On the panel today is Christina Testa's favorite brother, Len Testa, of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
I'm not doing too bad myself. And
wait! Whoa! You don't get away with that.
Oh my god!
You don't get away with that.
Episode 92.
Let's do this again. So, Matt, how's it going?
outstanding.
There we go.
World is better.
And
people listening to this driving to work, they're going to crash their car. What's the problem with that?
And sneaking on to today's show is Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
I have ingeniously infiltrated the United Snow Globe Company disguised as a security guard.
Thanks.
Sounds dangerous.
Very good, Mr. Geek.
Thank you.
We also have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, Matt.
I'm not even going to answer. Everyone already knows what the answer is. I'll just pause for 2 seconds and let everyone say it, and then we'll move on. And joining us again is Mark of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks. You know, Len stole it. I was going to say, hey, Matt, I'm outstanding. How about you?
Sorry.
See how quickly you come back, Mark. Put you on the blacklist. It's Wednesday, and it's also my girlfriend's birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Would you like to mention her
birthday.
name, or is it, do you have multiple girlfriends
Which
with the same
girlfriend,
birthday?
Mike?
Which girlfriend?
All right. I think we can leave it at that.
You know who you are, baby. Mwah!
Girlfriend of the month.
You're not helping my cause here, Len.
Love you.
Anyway. All right. Well, it's Wednesday, and that means we're answering your listener questions. So if you'd like to email us your own question, email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. I also want to remind our listeners that next Sunday, in fact, it's this Sunday, on April 30th at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll be doing our live show. It's going to be live at 9 o'clock Eastern on Mouse World Radio, so you just need to tune into Mouse World Radio. You can hear us. We'll have all the details on wdwtoday.com, so check that for further details. Our first email comes from Lynn, and it's mostly a comment, who writes, in telling us her thoughts about it getting darker in Florida over areas north. I'm not an expert astronomer, but I do not think that the sunrise or sunset times in Florida are a bit different than in Vermont. Florida is closer to the equator than Vermont, so the seasonal tilting of is extreme as in places more north. So, thank you.
I was going to say exactly that when that comment came up, but you know.
Of course.
That's actually a good observation, though. I mean, I'm not kidding.
Right. Our next email comes from Natalie, who writes, "Hi guys, the podcasts are great. I've been listening to all the past shows recently, and they have been super helpful. I am trying to figure out admission, which Disney, of course, makes as difficult as possible. I have 7-day base tickets. If on one day we decide to switch parks, do I need to pay for a hopping upgrade, or can we just burn 1 day, 1 park admission on the pass? Are my tickets for 7 days or 7 admissions help?"
7 days.
7 days, so you can't
Right.
visit 2 parks in the same day and ask Disney to take 2 days off your pass. So it's if you want to visit more than 1 park in 1 day, you have to buy the park hopping option, and there's no way around that.
It's a $42 option, I believe.
Yeah.
Natalie also wanted to let you know that I booked a breakfast at Cinderella's table recently. This was right after the changes to Cinderella's table went into effect. And she goes on to say, "Because of oversleeping and not being too excited to pay the $130 for breakfast, I did not call Walt Disney World Dining until about 8:30 a.m. Orlando time, dismissing the instructions in the unofficial guide, Don't Tell Testa."
And she got him?
She got him, yeah.
What day was this? When did she get him?
That's
amazing.
Yeah, no, well, this was back at this email. It's a little old. I prefer not to say the date.
So she got same-day reservations for Cinderella?
Oh, no. She was calling in advance.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, she didn't call right at the strike of dawn, like whenever they start taking reservations.
She didn't wake up at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, wherever she was.
Exactly.
I think we're starting to see the effects of the price increase.
Yeah, but the price increased too, and now they've got lunch and dinner too.
Yeah.
So you've got much more. You've got the price is obviously weeding some people out. You've also got much more supply. So.
Well, this next question is also aimed at Len.
Oh, jeez.
Don't worry, it's not about
Paint the
Christina.
target on you,
It's
Len.
okay.
Really?
This email is from Simon, who writes, "Hi guys, love your show. Cannot remember what show it was on, but you said that there was no difference between the left and right line at Pirates of the Caribbean. If I may, I would like to disagree. I was in Disney during December, and I went on Pirates of the Caribbean ride, one of my all-time favorite rides. I have to say that I went on the left-hand queue coming from England, and the queue was definitely shorter than the right-hand lane. I would like to..." He wrote hypnotize, but I think he might mean, what's it called? Hypnotize is not the right word. Theorize that this is because there were no visible.
Hypothesize.
There you go. Thank you. I knew we had him on here for a reason.
That semester as an English major did it.
I would like
Apparently, all those years of speaking the language did nothing for the rest of us. Oh well.
Sorry, Matt.
That's all right. All right. So going back to what Simon said.
All right. So here's the thing, though, Simon. I mean, yeah, I understand if you go through it once, pretty much anything that can happen. But to do the to come up with our conclusion, we sent people through. We literally had 2 people ride it every day, or I'm sorry, over and over again, like every day for like 3 straight days, and we did it during some fairly crowded times of the year. So in one observation or in a few observations, pretty much anything that can happen. It's like flipping a coin. There are times if you flip a coin 3 times, you'll get 3 heads or 3 tails. And that doesn't mean that a coin's, there's something wrong with the coin. It just means that over the course of time, it's likely that might happen. But if you look at it on average, there's literally less than 30 seconds difference between the right line and the left line over and over again. Although, if anyone ever wants to test this, and if anyone's got time, I'll be happy to give you instructions on how to do this. If any of our listeners are going down and want to ride Pirates over and over again, but I think over time you'll find that both lines tend to even out.
Great. The next comment is actually from our good friend Brian Martzoff, who writes in a lot to comment about some of the mistakes we made, which are often. This is about Walt's apartment. Walt's apartment at Disneyland was over the fire station, not in the castle. As for the rumor about the closed-circuit TV rumor, I think it's based on the second, better apartment that was planned in the New Orleans Square area that was being built when Walt died. The location of the apartment is today filled with a gallery above the entrance to Pirates of the Caribbean. The closed-circuit TV was supposed to be in the dining room of Club 33, the private club that was built, and is next door at the Disney Gallery. So Brian, along with a lot of other of our listeners, emailed us in to correct us specifically that we mentioned that the apartment is not in the castle, but is in fact in the fire station. So thank you to Brian and everyone else who commented on that. And Lisa from Trenton writes, "I was listening to episode 67. I needed to correct you about the annual passes in Disney Store. I'm a cast member, and you can purchase your annual passes through the store." So thank you, Lisa, for sending that in. Yes.
They should put up a sign or something, because I never even think to ask.
They barely mentioned the regular park tickets are well hidden. They're on like a sign, but it's kind of like the nutrition information at McDonald's. It's usually covered by like something,
Oh god. Your merchandise purchases this month will go towards our legal defense team.
Brian writes in, "Hi guys, love the show. Whenever you're buying something at Disney, you can have it sent to the front of the park, back to the hotel, or have it shipped home. I'm sure everyone has done the first two, but have any of you ever had it sent home? Do you know how much it costs, and is it possible to have it all sent in one big box rather than having 10 little things shipped to save money?"
That's a good
Well,
one.
let me take the second question first. You can only there are 2 ways to get it all shipped together. One, if you buy it all together, or 2, if you buy it, take it back to the resort, and then you box it up yourself, or have somebody behind the desk box it up and ship it together. You can't buy one thing at one store and one thing at another store and have it shipped together. That doesn't work unless you put them in a box together yourself and have it shipped out. But if you go to World of Disney or to the Emporium and you buy 50 different little things, you can have them put them all in one box and ship it home to you.
Great. Anyone have any prices
Len,
on
you want
that?
to take the price?
It depends on the item and the weight of the item.
Yeah, it's shipped by weight just because the shipping companies go by weight. So whether it be U.S. Postal Service or FedEx or UPS or whatever, it's all based on weight. Did you have something specific, Lynn? Or
Yeah, I'm thinking if our listeners want to get some estimates, they can visit the UPS or the FedEx websites and look at the cost of shipping something to their home zip code from zip code 32830, and they can play around with various package sizes and package weights. So if they know that they're going to go back and buy a piece of artwork, for example, and then they know the approximate size, they can get an estimate there. Or if they're anything from a snow globe, if they're interested in buying that, to I don't know, one of those big standing Mickey statues made out of wood, they can get an estimate of what the shipping costs are going to be.
Great. Our next email is from Tony, who writes, on my last trip to Disney World, the bus drove past an area that looked like a new resort. The white gated sign, I think, said Bonnet Creek Resort. Is this a new golf course or resort or hotel? This was down by the MGM area, I believe. Also, I love the new info on All-Star Resort rooms. Do you know when you'll be able to book these online? Bonnet Creek, anybody?
Bonnet Creek
Yeah,
Pub's
Bonnet
done.
Creek-
Go ahead.
Bonnet Creek is one of the small pieces of property that Disney was not able to purchase. I did some story in an update way back when they first started building the Bonnet Creek Resort. Basically, the resort is owned by Fairfield Resorts, which is a timeshare company. The plans, I believe, are for multiple timeshare resorts. The property is actually owned by somebody else, and they're either selling off or leasing different parcels. There's a golf course that's going to go in there and a whole bunch of other stuff. But you'll notice that the signage for Bonnet Creek Resort is a different color than all the other signage on property. It's not a purple sign because it's not a Disney resort. Disney has to provide signage and traffic to that resort because the property is landlocked inside Disney and highways, and the only way to get there is through Disney property. So Disney will take care of the signage and so forth, but that is not Disney at all.
And will they? So it's all timeshare. Can you still stay there if you don't want to if you don't own the timeshare? Will they still be renting out rooms?
I don't know a whole lot of details about how they're operating, just because I didn't have that level of interest in it, and I had a lot of other things to waste my energy on. I would assume that it's just the timeshares that if the owners and those who have the ability to trade into it are not using it, or if there's excess inventory that hasn't been sold yet, that they might be available for regular room rentals. But obviously people who own there and who have the rights to trade into it would get first dibs.
It's interesting you mentioned that Disney's this is the piece of property that Disney doesn't own, but they've actually been selling off property, like small parcels here and there over the last year or so.
Yep,
to
they sold off
developers.
3 properties. They
Right.
sold off one south of the Animal Kingdom, which is adjacent to another property that the buyer was developing, so they're going to have a big timeshare resort there. They sold off some property off of Reams Road, which is north of the Magic Kingdom. You could probably even try to cut through the woods back to the production facilities back there, though I wouldn't recommend it because they probably have plenty of fences there. But it's just north of the Magic Kingdom and Central Shops, and that was sold to a residential developer. And then there's another piece of property along 192 somewhere that they either have sold or in the process of selling. But yeah, and I've been told that the property that they're selling now actually was not part of the original land purchase by Walt Disney, contrary to what I had originally run. Park update talking about the sales, that the property was purchased later on as additional space for various projects that didn't happen.
That's interesting. I wonder what the prices of the resorts will be and what they'll do to Disney's pricing.
I'm not sure. I know that the purchase pricing on that was, I think one was $50 million total, I think. I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can pull up that update really quick. 47 acres on Reams Road went for $4.8 million. The 53 acres on Sherberth Road, south of the Animal Kingdom, went for $15.4 million. And then the 30 acres further west on 192 is under contract but hasn't been sold yet. So those are the numbers.
We got 2 emails, actually, of opposing views, and I think we've mentioned this, and I know Len has mentioned this. It's both about the coffee on Walt Disney World property. Here's what they have to say. First person is from Julie from Ohio, who writes, I thought I read somewhere that Nescafe coffee would be going away. Is that true? I love Nescafe and look forward to enjoying it every trip. Now wait, hold on a second, Len. I know you're about to jump down her throat here.
No.
The next question is from Beth of East Hampton, New Jersey, who writes, does anyone know what's up with the coffee on Disney properties? That Nescafe stuff is awful and shouldn't even be considered coffee. It's more like dirty water. How can we lobby or send comments to get them to switch to real coffee? It's been sold there since forever, but it is really time for a change. My sisters and I usually stay at the Polynesian and can get the Kona coffee at the Kona Coffee Bar in the second floor lobby. Of course, that's only for the few hours in the morning that it's open. The rest of the time, you're out of luck.
Julie meet Beth. Beth meet Julie. Julie, I mean, we're both from Ohio, so, we got something going there, but I got to go with Beth on this one. I don't love the coffee in Walt Disney World. I mean, okay, so you've got a personal taste for Nescafe, and that's good. I don't think that a view shared by many, unfortunately. And it'd be fine with me if they got rid of it for something else. I do like the Kona coffee at the Kona Cafe, but for whatever reason, there's not a Starbucks in Walt Disney World. Otherwise, they'd make $1 bajillion on it. It's one of the few places on Earth that there isn't a Starbucks.
Well, the Nescafe is because Nestle has got that big sponsorship contract.
Yeah, but still, they've got to get more coffee complaints than.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so bitter tasting. I don't know. That could be me.
Our next email comes from Mariano Julio, who writes, Dear Sir and Madame, we are pleased to inform you that you've won Euro Million Spanish Lot. Oh, wait, this is a Spanish.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I think I got that email, too. What are the odds?
From Nigeria is a fake, too?
Yeah, something about those. Time for one last email here, and it's from Annette Konachek, who writes, I am trying to talk my husband into a fall trip to Walt Disney World. Would you go in October or November if you had the choice? I went October 1st through 9th last year, and the weather was horrible, 90 degrees, 100% humidity, and it rained every day. I didn't expect it to be that hot in October. Not sure if this was abnormal or not.
Well, geez, the thing with October is apparently you can now see Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
You can do that in September now.
Yeah, but if you go in November, I guess they're getting ready for Easter. So, November is going to be cooler. What's the average rainfall in Orlando? Yeah, I'm thinking October is going to be the very, very end of. Is that the very end of hurricane season?
Yeah, November 30th, I believe, is the end of hurricane season.
30th, yeah.
Yeah, so October you're probably a little bit more likely to get, if not hurricanes, then tropical storms, I would guess. Whereas in November you'll be a little bit better off. And I think the weather's definitely going to be cooler then. The downside is I don't think the park hours are going to be as long in November as they are in October, right? Unless you're going around Thanksgiving, which I wouldn't do.
Yeah. The park hours kind of, you have like the Halloween time, it kind of goes up a little bit, and then it dips down before Thanksgiving.
But the first week of November shouldn't be terrible, right? You're between sort of Not So Scary Halloween Party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. You're far enough into hurricane season that it's probably not going to be that much of a threat.
Yeah, I'm over on your best days page, and it looks like October 29th through November 4th has got a lot of 4s in there. And
yeah, that's
the lowest really between the beginning of October and Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So I think roughly first week of November sounds like a good plan in that. Is free dining still available in November?
No, it ends in September, doesn't it?
Second half of August and all of September at this point. It's possible they may add more, but at this point that's all they got. Depends on booking. If they can't fill the rooms, Then they'll run another dining special.
Okay.
Well, that's it for us today. This has been episode number 92 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Line Testament, Mike Scopa and Mike Newell, and Mark Goldhaber, I'm Matt Hodgeberg. We'll see you on the next show.